today we're going to be talking about sound. Now, sound is a really underrated but a really crucial part of making a film. Simply because the things that we listen to change how we feel and the emotions that go along with what we're watching. If I automatically put some scary music over what I'm saying right now, you begin to feel a sense of tension and suspense. If I play some happy music, then you automatically assume that I'm going to be talking about something exciting and some good news. So the way that we respond to sounds and noises really help us to place an emotion and really put ourselves within the scene. And so it's really important that when you're filming and when you're recording your sound, that you're getting really good quality sound, because bad sound makes a bad film, just automatically. If you hear some scratchy noises and things sound kind of fuzzy, you automatically don't really want to listen to what they have to say because the sound isn't very clear. And so whenever you start to shoot your videos, you want to pay attention to the sound around you. I recommend that first of all, you get a pair of really good headphones that are noise canceling so that you don't hear other sounds around you when you're listening to what's from your camera. And I'm going to be talking about the different types of microphones that I use specifically for my filming. So I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 types of microphones that I use for my videos. Now, the first one that I mainly use is called a lavalier mic, and you normally see that I have this little microphone clipped to me, usually around my shirt collar. And this is considered a omnidirectional microphone. So omnidirectional means that it goes in all directions. It's a really small mic, so if I take off this little fuzzy, this little cap, you can actually see that this is the mic, and it's really small. But what this does is that it picks up the sound directly coming from your voice. And so normally, you need what's called a transmitter and a receiver. And so the receiver, you'll see it has an RX. It'll go onto the top of the camera, and then the TX is a transmitter, and it sends what's coming from my voice directly to the receiver. And so this is a very common way of doing interviews. If you're trying to get really clear audio from one person, this is really simple, and this is traditionally what I use for all of my videos. These are a little bit more expensive, so this set cost me around $300. And so if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, you can also just buy this lavalier mic and you can hook it up to your phone. And so I will leave a link in the assignment to show you all of the gear that I use if you're interested in purchasing the same gear, or you can look around for more comparative or alternative options that are cheaper. So yeah, this is what I traditionally use. Right now, what I'm using for my setup today, because I thought I would just switch it up, is I'm using what's called a shotgun mic. And so I'm going to show you some footage of what it looks like right now when it's attached to the camera. And it's called a shotgun mic because it actually looks like a shotgun. It's very long and rectangular, and it's a directional mic. So it's not omni in that it picks up from all directions, but it actually picks up from the direction that it's pointing to. So you'll notice that in bigger film sets, they will attach a shotgun mic to a boom pole. So it's a long stick, and then they hang it over the camera, and they point it to the direction where they want someone to be speaking. So let's say if I'm having a conversation with someone next to me, they'll go from pointing it to me to the next person. And so this is an easy way if you are trying to capture directional sound from multiple people in a room, but you don't have, let's say, 10 lavalier microphones, and you don't want to have to deal with all that sound. It works. It's definitely not as clear as a lavalier mic, and so that's why the closer it is to the subject and to the sound that's coming out, the clearer it's going to be. Right now I just have mine attached to the camera, so it's not the best position. If I really wanted it to be a really clear and crisp sound, I would hang it right in front of me, just so that it's out of frame of the camera. So the third microphone that I just started using is called a condenser mic. So it looks something like this. It comes in different shapes and forms, but they all basically do the same thing. The microphone is underneath this little fuzzy guy, so let me take it out. came like this. So this is the mic. So this is what it's called, a cardioid microphone, which is kind of a weird word. But what it does is it picks sound up from the front and the back, but it doesn't do it from the top. So it's not omnidirectional. It really just pulls it from the front and the back. And we put this on it to muffle any additional smaller noises that might pick up. And this is to use for speaking directly into the mic without having too much of an interference. So I like to plug this directly into my computer, and when I'm editing, if I need to do voiceovers, I'll simply switch out the microphone on my computer for this microphone. So this is great if you're doing any type of podcasting or doing some live stream stuff and you want your voice to sound really clear, but having this mic in front of you isn't as much of a distraction. And so this is a really great way if you're just looking for really great audio and you don't necessarily care about the visuals. So how do you decide which microphone to use? So that's really dependent on what kind of video you're shooting and what kind of audio you need. So if you're doing interviews, I would actually recommend for you to use a lavalier mic. If you're doing kind of just like talking to the camera, then obviously a shotgun mic is very convenient. Or if you are walking around, sometimes a shotgun mic can be easier to pick up just directional sound, versus a lavalier is a bit more cumbersome. In general, you do want to have some sort of microphone whenever you're filming so that you can pick up good audio. So if you're doing voiceovers, another option is, if you want, you can also just use your voice memos app on your phone and just speak directly into your camera microphone, and it should be pretty good. You can also get headphones for your phone if your phone has a headphone jack, and you can speak into the mic that the headphones come with, and that should really give you some really nice crisp sound if you're looking for better sound for your voiceovers. So conducting a sound test is really important before you actually start to shoot your film. So what I like to do is I like to sit down in front of the camera, I like to hook up my mics, and I like to test out 2 or 3 sentences that I'm going to be speaking with, and then I'll stop, and then I'll listen to the recording with my noise-canceling headphones to make sure that there's no additional sound that's being picked up. If you hear stuff like planes or people talking in the next room, try to ask them to stop talking just for the time that you're going to be shooting. And generally I like to wait until all the planes, and if you hear someone doing gardening or anything that might be disruptive outside, you want to try to minimize the amount of noise so that when you go to shoot, you're not having to edit out all these sounds afterwards, which is going to be a really big pain. So yeah, make sure you set up your shoot to have good audio to begin with, so that you're not having to deal with it later. So once you have your microphone, you also need to be aware of how loud your microphone settings are set to. So normally I like to keep my range at a 0 to -12 decibels. And that's usually a comfortable range so that whenever you export your video or you edit your video, it is a comfortable range for other people to listen to. And so when I'm testing my microphone, I like to make sure it never hits the red. And so I'm going to show you on my camera what it looks like when it shows the levels of my microphone. And if I'm too soft, you either need to bump up the microphone levels or you need to adjust it in editing later if you can't bump it up. I hope that this video helps you to better understand how to get good sound for your videos while you're filming and how to use the microphones that you decide to choose for the right video.